So this is a clean install. This is a fresh account. Anybody can go to mobileigniter.com right now and set up an account. But I'm going to go through and build things. I'm going to build an app for MobileSlopes right now. I will admit I spent 15 minutes collecting the data that I'm going to put into it and 20 minutes making the graphics, so I got a 35-minute lead on you right now. So, Rob, we're going to start with a web page and then a directory and a Twitter. So, if you want to walk through what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so it looks like basically the platform here has these different modules, connectors, basically. So Dominic's going to power up basically the first module here. So he clicks this add module button and he has this list of different modules here on the left-hand side. And it looks like what you're going to do here is set up a web page, right? An existing web page. You have to have technical difficulties, right? That's part of this conference.
That's not my mouse.
And then as you can see here, as he moves the module over to the right-hand side and clicks the add field button, you see he's dropping down.
Oh, I don't know.
The field, right? So you can access the GPS
yeah,
camera,
it's VGA.
Right? While at the same time, pulling an RSS feed or another web page. Okay, as he clicks save on that.
There's gremlins in this place. I know I've got juice, but let's plug in anyways.
So do we have any, just a show of hands of non-technical users? People that just maybe, okay, good, we got, oh, you?
Maybe? Maybe? Here we go.
Any need to ever, like, build an app at all?
Okay.
Or have your own ideas? What I find with the non-technical users, it's pretty cool because they always have business ideas or functional ideas, or it's really easy for them to kind of come up and say, hey, here we go. All right, so.
Yep, we're back now.
Okay, so.
Do I have internet now?
Yeah, we have to.
There's no dimmer. We've turned off all the other lights.
Power breaker? Power breaker.
And now we don't have internet. Encode. Okay, we're back.
Okay, so essentially what he's done, right, he signed on to a web-based portal, that's kind of in the back end here, and it looks like you're creating a web page, right?
Correct.
On a mobile device, essentially, right? So you're picking your icons for each one of these, different modules or widgets, as we call them, right? Has an ability to either pull up icons. If you're creative, you can create your own icons. If you're not, we have a whole series of database icons kind of available that you can drop down and pick, essentially. And this is actually a simulator, right? So this is like the actual, the mobile phone itself. So what he's doing right here is he's actually, you can get this concept. He's in a website, a web page in the back end building this, and in real time, this application is being requested basically on this,
yep.
right yep. On the actual simulator itself. So if you had your own phone, you could actually be following him kind of in this demo with the MI
right. Next is a directory.
Okay, so next we're going to create a directory. This could be like your corporate directory. This could be your private, personal, friends, and family directory. So he's added this directory module. It has to be, again, one of the widgets. The whole kind of concept here is it's a building block. It's a Lego approach, basically, right? So we're building kind of, it looks like you're going to pull, here, you've got the list of...
Yep, I've got a list of some of the speakers already populated in a CSV file. This can also be entered manually, but this is a whole lot faster for demo purposes. So and in the business world, you're going to do CSV dumps. You're not going to enter things
manually. You're going to get a CSV file of your employees and just upload it, but you only have a few people.
And we want to move Rob to the top of this list.
So he's dragging and changing the order. So the list came in a particular sequence. Not sure why he wanted to move Rob to the top of the list, but we'll see that go. So there basically he's added a whole other module, a little baby application, and then there's kind of the list that he just moved, right? So that's just data. So you see what happened. If you could go back there just a little bit, Dominic, I want to kind of highlight kind of the power of the platform and the tool is, the Twitter ID, right? The Twitter ID, the information, right? The Facebook Connect. All of that you would normally have to hand code, right? In a kind of traditional environment. The platform actually allows to put all that kind of information, and it's got the intelligence to take advantage of the stuff you shouldn't have to hand code every time you build an application, essentially. Okay, so now we've got a list of the presenters. And next we're going to do
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter stream, all right? So we kind of want to build this after the conference and see, what people are kind of talking about and communicating. So we add basically the Twitter module and refresh basically the viewer. And there, now we've got the Twitter feed. We click on that and then automatically bingo, right? Within 30 seconds, you've got an entire Twitter stream that's added kind of into your application. Okay. Let's see. What
we're going to build a feedback form now.
Okay, feedback form. So here we are at the conference, and we want to have a conference app because we want to get feedback in case there's technical difficulties. We want to make sure that the management of the organization understands that that's not a good way to run a tech conference or suggestions for improvement, right? It could also be that the drinks, or maybe there weren't enough drinks, maybe there were the wrong kind of drinks, right? All that kind of good stuff. So there's nothing better than having a kind of an event app that you can capture that information. So it's going to get out the form builder, add that module, and it looks like you're going to add here, okay, you're adding the response message, so I missed okay, you're going to add a field, text field, right, got to capture information. And so let's go ahead and add a fields here.
In the camera.
Okay, then I have the camera, so you want to take a picture. So maybe there's like garbage or something in part of the conference, or who knows what it may be. Maybe there's a very keynote speaker. We want to actually take a picture, leveraging that. Remember the phone, the native part of the phone, the camera piece. Want to be able to access that, right? No programming involved. Integrating onboard hardware, right, camera device into basically the application. Okay, so here's the form, right? So looks like you added here some instructions. Capture somebody's name in the email and include a photo, right? So it looks like what you just built here is a capture form, put your information, the individual can actually take a picture and actually push a save button, and that information would get, in this case, you would send it to an email?
Correct.
Okay.
And it also should be noted that it just had choose from library up there. That's because you're on a simulator, there's no camera. When you get on device, it also gives you camera options. Yeah. And as a web developer, going back to that, if you actually want to include this functionality in your page, it's a simple JavaScript call through our JavaScript API to access the camera. You don't have to touch the native ever.
Okay.
And
all right, very good. What else can we add here?
We're going to add an RSS feed with news about MobileSlopes.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of it. So, yes, question. Yeah, so that's a very good question. I would say it needs some work in that area. Yeah, I would definitely say that's an area for improvement, right? So, yeah.
But you're talking about the size of this or what?
Yeah, so the question is how, right, how accessible is the solution if you can't see what you're doing?
At least for the development.
Yeah, from the development side of it. So there's a big, kind of movement in terms of, building, applications so they're usable to the largest population as possible.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I love it. I can make that right. Okay, so back to Dominic here. Now, what are you going to do for us, Dominic?
Schedule.
Okay, schedule. So you want to, so the schedule, so this is where it kind of, to me, it becomes very, very interesting. So, okay, in a conference, schedules are planned in advance, and it's really static information. They really don't change that much. So in this case, he's just gathering that information that probably is just copied from a web page or an email that was sent to him by the schedule and planning administrator. What's actually interesting to me at this stage is in not all of these modules and widgets are published in the front end because of the complexity, but there's actually there's an API module, scheduling module that you can actually tap into like an Outlook calendar, right, or a Zimbra. Zimbra's another open source email system, and actually enable real-time interaction to the back end of the enterprise. And that's where we really, as I mentioned earlier, the shift that we're seeing for mobile application development is to be able to do real-time connections back in the enterprise. And that takes a little bit of a technical kind of understanding. With today's, kind of XML and SDKs that are available, it's not too bad to be able to add basically an API. But the trend where kind of the Mobile Igniter platform is going is kind of building the whole community around developers that want to build these adapters. So if you have skills in Outlook integration, you want to build a module that allows that, you can put that and publish that in the marketplace. So the vision is kind of, you build this community managed and led environment where people can build adapters and widgets for whatever their specialty is, In my case, it happens to be kind of aircraft scheduling. I bet there's hundreds and hundreds of developers and thousands of users, tens of thousands around the United States who love the application I just built. So I can publish that into this open marketplace where other people can take advantage and use. And we see kind of that tradition to move away from kind of going out to go to the Apple Store now to get the Apple stuff, and the Android Store to get that, but kind of to build these communities and marketplaces around kind of developers and really end users that need to have access to these different modules. That also allows all the developers in the house, that also allows you to go build modules for what you're really good at, publish those, right, in the Mobile Igniter Marketplace and get monetization from them, right? Build it once, sell it 1,000 times. So why not do that, right? It's another way to kind of, as developers, and even as functional people that can do that, some of these things as well, and actually, kind of go make some money basically and kind of building the application.
Well, you weren't looking at rebranded the app.
Okay, so you just did a revamp of the MobileSlopes. So, all right, so now look at this. So we just built, while we're sitting in this room in the last 12 minutes, we just built an application that we should have built for MobileSlopes, right? For this kind of event, so everyone can kind of download and have this information available. Mm-hmm. Now, the next step, let's talk about this. Now we've built the mobile app. You've done some testing here, right? There's some dashboard analytics. Let's just give us a sneak peek of that as people start consuming kind of information. There's a dashboard available. But let's talk about the publishing side of it, because this is the other side of it when you build mobile apps. Essentially, from this stage forward, you hit basically a kind of a publish button where these apps can actually be published. And then there's a process that's a little bit manual and fully automated as much as we can. If you know anything, particularly Apple, they have very strict constraints on who can publish your app on your behalf. So you actually have to, as most recently last summer, Apple introduced a new kind of regulation that if you're going to publish apps and you're going to use a platform like MobileIgniter, you have to pay for your $99 developer certificate, right? So you still have to do that kind of pay the $99, I guess it's every year, reoccurring, and then the app is basically bundled, and this platform takes care of all the submission to the App Store, the notification back to you if your app gets denied for whatever reason. Apple's changing their rules all the time, and all that kind of good stuff. So it kind of automates that whole provisioning and that distribution and getting acceptance basically as well. Okay? All right, so there you go. That was just kind of a quick